For our second lesson, we are going to continue working with algebraic expressions. This time we're going to work with the distributive property in not only using it, but how to write expressions with it. So our essential question is, how do you multiply algebraic expressions? And that is exactly what the distributive property is. It is a use of multiplication. In our example here, we can see that what we are essentially doing is multiplying everything inside our parentheses times 3. So it's in essence having 3 sets of this here. And rather than writing that out, using the distributive property is a shorthand way of doing so. So here we have 3 times x, 3 times 5. And 3 times x is 3x, 3 times 5 is 15. So our rewritten expression is 3x plus 15. For our first question, we are going to work on how do we write an expression with the distributive property. A group of 5 people go out to eat and buy appetizers and main dishes. They decide to split the bill so each person pays 20% of the total cost. Appetizers are $10 and main dishes are $20. Write an expression to show how much each person pays. So we know that each person is going to pay an equal price, an equal amount, and that amount is 20% of whatever they have for their total. And their total is based on appetizers and main dishes. So for our first step, I need to establish my variables. So I know that appetizers are $10, and I'm going to use the variable A for appetizers. And I know that one appetizer costs $10. Well, that would mean that 2, if I used my variable A, if I had that as 2, I would know that my appetizers give me a total of $20. So this is what I'm going to use to represent my appetizers. $10 for one appetizer. Whatever number I use to substitute in place of A is going to help me determine how much I have in total for my appetizers. Now I have my main dishes. So for my main dishes, I'm going to use the variable M. And I know that one main dish costs $20. So if I wanted to know how much money 2 main dishes would cost, I would substitute 2 in place of M. Both M and A represent the number of appetizers or main dishes bought for the group of 5 people. So, because when we go out to eat, they add in everything, so we're going to need to add our 2 terms here. So, and because they are not like terms, we just have to represent it as 10A plus 20M. Now adding these together, adding your cost of your appetizers and your cost of your main dishes, that's going to give us our total cost for the group of 5 people. But what we want to figure out is, how much does one person have to pay? And that's 20%. So we have to figure out, well, what's 20% of the total? So I'm going to take my total, and I'm going to have to multiply it by 20%. Well, we know from our last unit, when we're dealing with percents, our first thing to do, turn our percent into a decimal. So 20% is equal to 0.2 or 0.20. So that's what I need to find, 20% of our total cost. And if we can recall, of means to multiply. So I'm going to need to multiply 0.2 or 20% times my total cost, or everything inside of my parentheses. So here we are, we're going to write out with our distributive property 0.2 times 10 plus 20M. So we have 20% of $10 is $2. So we multiply that together. Oops, I don't need a decimal there, do I? $2. So each person is going to pay $2 per appetizer. And then they're going to have to pay $4 per meal. So this is our rewritten expression for what each person has to pay. And we will rewrite that down here. $2 per appetizer plus $4 per meal. Now let's try this again with another question. Alrighty, so here we have Mark. Mark is selling tickets for the middle school band concert. The band gets to keep 25% of the money he collects from selling tickets to buy new uniforms. Ticket prices for the concert are as follows. Adult tickets are $12 and student tickets are $8. So here we are again. We're going to write our expression, but we're going to do this very step by step. So our first step is to establish our variables. So we have two different things going on. We have $12 for adult tickets and $8 for student tickets. So to write this out using our variables, I'm going to use the variable A for adult and S for student. I think that's an easy way to remember what each variable means. So $12 for one adult ticket. So if I bought 2 tickets, I would multiply 12 times 2. And then I'm going to use S for students. So $8 for one student ticket. If I bought 3 student tickets, I would multiply 8 times 3. So when we're working to find a total amount, we're going to add these together. So we're going to have $12 per adult ticket plus $8 per student ticket. Rewrite that S, that doesn't look very nice. $8 for every student ticket. Now, the band gets to keep 25% of the total, and we use this to find the total. So however many adult tickets they sell, plus however many student tickets they sell. That is how they find their total. Well, the band gets to keep 25% of that amount. So as you can recall, we know that of means to multiply. So I'm going to take 25%, and I need to turn that into a decimal. I can't work with 25%. I need to use a decimal representation of it, which is 0.25. So now down here where I apply it, it's going to look like 0.25, and because I have to find 25% of the total, I'm going to multiply it by the total, $12 per adult ticket plus $8 per student ticket. So now I'm going to distribute it. So 25% of 12. Well, 25% is a fourth of 100, so I'm just going to take 12 divided by 4. That gives me 3. So the band gets to keep $3 for every adult ticket sold. And they get to keep whatever 25% of $8 is. So I'm going to take 25% or 4 divided by 8, which is 2. They get to keep $3 for every adult ticket sold and $2 for every student ticket sold. This is an expression that would represent how much the band would make. Now what I want you to do, after stopping the video, I would like you to try these 2 your turn questions to have ready for class tomorrow. If you have any questions, make sure to write them down and ask me tomorrow.